What mileage is too high for a used car? Ask 10 people and you'll get 10 answers. Never buy anything over 100,000 miles. Anything past 150,000 is a ticking time bomb. I don't care, as long as it's under 50,000, it's basically new. And here's the crazy part. I've seen cars die at 60,000 miles, and I've seen cars still running strong past 400,000. So clearly that number on the dashboard is not the full story. If you've ever scrolled through used car listings, seen a car you liked, and then backed out because the mileage looked too high, you might have walked away from the best deal of your life. And if you've ever bought a so-called low mileage gem and watched it fall apart way too early, you already know, mileage alone can lie to you. If you want to stop guessing, stop relying on random rules of thumb, and actually understand what mileage really means for a used car, you need to hear this all the way through. Because people who don't understand this, they overpay. They get scared of the wrong cars, and they miss out on the ones that could have gone the distance. If you care about not wasting your money on cars ever again, subscribe right now. Seriously, because the stuff we break down on this channel is exactly what dealers, lazy sellers, and bad car gurus hope you never learn. Every video you skip is information you don't have the next time you're about to spend thousands. Don't be the one guessing while everyone here is making smart moves. Now, let's decode the truth about mileage. First, let's talk about the big lie. High mileage means bad and low mileage means good. Here's a wild fact. A well-maintained Toyota Prius taxi in some cities has been documented going over 600,000 kilometers. That's over 370,000 miles on the original engine and hybrid system. At the same time, I've personally seen engines destroyed before 60,000 miles because the owner never changed the oil. Not once. They just topped it up. Most people think the odometer tells them how used up a car is. It doesn't. Mileage is like someone telling you they've walked 10,000 steps today. Was it all on a flat sidewalk, or was it up a rocky mountain with a heavy backpack? Same number, completely different level of stress. Cars are the exact same way. This brings us to easy miles versus hard miles, and this matters more than you think. Imagine two cars, same model, same year, same engine, same transmission. Both show 120,000 miles. Car A spent its life on the highway. The owner had a 40-minute commute each way. The car starts, warms up, reaches steady temperature, then just cruises. Oil flows smoothly, the transmission rarely shifts, brakes are used gently. Car B lived a brutal city life, short trips, cold starts, stop-and-go traffic, idling in jams, harsh roads, always on, off. On, off. On paper, both are 120,000-mile cars. Inside the engine and transmission, they are not equal. Highway miles are like gentle jogging. City miles are like sprinting, stopping, while carrying weights. Fun fact, many taxi and rideshare cars with massive mileage are mechanically healthier than low-mileage cars driven only for 5-minute trips to the store. Why? Because engines love being warmed up and kept there. What they hate is being started cold, run for 2 minutes, then shut off over and over. So the first big truth, not all miles are equal. Too high is different for every car depending on how those miles were done. Next, we have to look at age versus mileage, also known as the 10,000-mile trap. Here's something almost nobody tells you. A 15-year-old car with 40,000 miles can be worse than a 7-year-old car with 120,000 miles. That sounds backwards, so let's unpack it. Cars don't age just in miles. They age in years. Rubber dries out, seals harden, plastic becomes brittle, fluids absorb moisture and break down. Rust quietly starts from small chips and moisture. So imagine a 15-year-old car that did a few thousand miles a year. It sat a lot. Tires sat in one position. Fluids sat. Condensation built up. It was started, moved a short distance, turned off, and repeated for years. Now imagine a 7-year-old car that did 17,000 miles a year. Driven daily, highway runs, fluids warmed up and circulated, everything exercised. Which one do you think has more brittle rubber, more dried seals, more stale fluids, and more hidden corrosion? Fun fact, tires can be unsafe from age even if the tread looks fine. Many experts recommend replacing tires around 6 to 10 years old, no matter the mileage. So super low mileage on a very old car isn't always a bonus. Sometimes it's a red flag that says this thing sat for years. But here is the real secret that matters more than mileage. Maintenance history. This is where most people lose or save thousands thousands. Picture two cars. Car X has 80,000 miles, car Y has 160,000 miles. Most buyers run straight to car X. It has half the miles. It must be better. But now look deeper. Car X has almost no records. Oil changes? The previous owner said they did them. Transmission service? Not sure. Coolant? Probably fine. Timing belt? What's that? Car Y has a folder of receipts. Oil changed on time every 5,000 to 7,000 miles. Transmission fluid changed. Coolant flushed. Timing belt and water pump done. Spark plugs replaced. Suspension parts refreshed. Which car do you actually want? Here's the truth. A well-maintained 160,000-mile car is often safer, cheaper, and more reliable than an 80,000-mile car that lived its life on neglect. Fun fact, on some engines, skipping one timing belt change can destroy the engine completely if it snaps. That's not a maybe, that's valves hitting pistons. Mileage tells you how long it's been running. Maintenance tells you whether it's been dying slowly or living strong. You also need to remember that different engines have different lifespans. This one shocks a lot of people. 100,000 miles is middle-aged for some cars and old man on life support for others. Some engines have legendary reputations. Toyota's simple four-cylinder and some Honda engines are famous for hitting 200 to 300,000 miles with basic care. Some diesel engines in trucks and taxis go crazy distances with proper maintenance. On the other hand, some small turbo engines, when abused or poorly maintained, start having big problems between 80 and 130,000 miles. Some engines are known for specific issues like timing chain stretch, oil consumption, or head gasket failures that commonly show up at certain mileage ranges. Same mileage number, totally different risk. Before you decide if the mileage is too high, you have to ask, what is the track record of this specific engine and transmission combination? If a model is known for reliable, long-lasting drivetrains, 150 to 200,000 miles is no big deal. If a model is known for serious failures around 100 to 120,000 miles, then even 90,000 miles might be risky.
So let's break down the real mileage zones and what they actually mean. This is not an exact science, but it's a very useful mental map. 0 to 60,000 miles. This is usually early life. Good cars here should feel tight and fresh, but you can still destroy a car in this range with zero maintenance and brutal driving. Low mileage is not an automatic pass. 60,000 to 100,000 miles. For a well-built car, this is normal middle age. Some bigger services might be due, like spark plugs, fluids, maybe brakes, and some suspension parts. A good inspection and some catch-up maintenance, and you're good. 100,000 to 150,000 miles. This is where people start to get scared, but good cars are often absolutely fine here. This is also where bad designs and bad maintenance start showing. If a car has been neglected, things will start cracking, leaking, and failing now. 150,000 to 220,000 miles. This is high mileage for most buyers. This is where you can find insane deals or serious money pits. At this stage, everything depends on the brand, the design, the maintenance history, and a professional inspection. 220,000 miles and up, this is veteran territory. Only some cars do well here. If you're considering a car at this mileage, it has to be a model known for durability, with strong records and a great inspection. For the right car, this can be an amazing cheap commuter. For the wrong car, it's pain. Again, those aren't fixed rules. A good 180,000-mile car can be better than a bad 90,000-mile car. But now you understand why simply asking, is 120,000 too much, is the wrong question. This perfectly explains why low mileage can be overrated. Some people treat low mileage like a magic spell. Only 40,000 miles? It's basically new. Here's what low mileage doesn't tell you. How often was the oil changed? Was the car thrashed from cold starts every time? Did the owner floor it everywhere? Did it sit outside in harsh sun or salty winter roads? Was it driven once a month and left with old fuel and stale fluids? Fun fact, an engine that sits for long periods can build rust on internal metal surfaces because of condensation. That means tiny rough spots inside your engine when it finally runs again. A 50,000-mile car that lived a hard life can be a worse buy than a 120,000-mile car that was owned by a calm driver who maintained it religiously. Low mileage is nice, but it's not a guarantee. It's just one clue. So what is the single most important thing you can do? Get an inspection. You can read mileage, you can read ads, you can listen to the seller, but the car will tell you the real story if you put it in front of a good mechanic. A proper pre-purchase inspection looks at underbody rust, Oil, coolant, and transmission leaks, suspension wear, brake condition, frame damage or signs of accidents, diagnostic codes, cooling system health, tire wear patterns, and weird noises or vibrations on a real test drive. You know what's wild? People will happily spend $20,000 on a used car and refuse to pay $150 for an inspection that could have saved them $3,000, $5,000, or even more in hidden repairs. Fun fact, some of the worst cars I've seen felt fine on a quick test drive, but put them on a lift and you discover cracked subframes, rotted brake lines, huge oil leaks, and bent suspension parts. Mileage alone won't reveal any of that, an inspection will. So what mileage is actually too high? Here's the honest answer. There is no single number. For a strong, well-maintained Toyota, Honda, or similar, 150,000 miles can be just getting warmed up. For a known fragile engine or transmission with iffy records, 90,000 can already be the danger zone. Too high is when the model's history says big failures tend to happen around or before that mileage. It's too high when the maintenance history is unknown or obviously bad. It's too high when an inspection shows leaks, rust, and major wear. And it's too high when the price doesn't give you enough room to fix things that might go wrong. On the flip side, it's not too high yet when the model is known to go way beyond that mileage with basic care, when the car has proof of regular service, when the inspection says it's structurally and mechanically solid, and when the price reflects the mileage and leaves you some budget for future maintenance. So stop asking, is 120,000 too high? Start asking, for this exact car, make, model, engine, transmission, and year, with this maintenance history in this condition at this price, does the risk match what I'm paying? That's how smart buyers think. Let's look at a quick real-world example to show you what I mean. Think about this pattern. A simple, non-turbo Japanese sedan with 170,000 miles, full service history, and a clean inspection, versus a turbocharged luxury European car with 90,000 miles, spotty history, known issues at 100,000, and an owner who never really did much to it. One has too many miles on paper. One looks safe on paper. In real life, the first one might give you 5 to 8 more years of cheap, reliable service. The second one might give you a $3,000 bill next year. That's why mileage is not the king. Context is. So here's how to use this next time you shop. Here's how to stop being scared of the wrong cars and start spotting the right ones. Look at mileage only as a starting point, not a decision. Search the exact car you're considering with phrases like year, model, engine, common problems, reliability, and high mileage. Always ask about maintenance records and walk away from sellers who get weird about it. Pay for a pre-purchase inspection from a mechanic who works on that kind of car regularly. Don't panic just because you see 130,000 or 160,000 miles. Panic if you see bad design history, no records, and a failed inspection. And finally, be ready to walk away. There will always be another car. If you do this, you'll start seeing what most buyers can't see. You'll see the hidden value in scary mileage cars that were actually loved and maintained, and you'll see the hidden danger in low mileage cars that were abused and neglected. Because if you're still guessing, you're already losing. Dealers, flippers, and lazy sellers love buyers who don't understand mileage. They love people who refuse to touch anything over 100,000 miles on principle, people who pay a premium for low mileage with no records, people who think Carfax tells the whole story, people who skip inspections because it feels fine, and people who believe all brands age the same. Those buyers overpay, they walk away from great cars, and they keep repeating the same mistakes every few years. If you've read this far, you're already not like that. You actually care about why cars last or die, not just what the ad says. But this is just one topic. There's so much more that can save you thousands. Which engines are secretly legendary and which ones are quiet disasters, how to tell in 5 minutes if a car was abused even if it looks clean, what maintenance actually matters and what's just an upsell, why some reliable brands have specific years you should avoid, and how to buy older cars that still feel almost new without gambling. That's exactly what this channel is for. If you're not subscribed, you're driving blind while everyone here is slowly getting X-ray vision for cars. Every time you think about buying, selling, or fixing a car, these videos will either save you money or make you wish you'd watched them sooner. So hit subscribe now, not because it helps me, but because the next time you're about to spend thousands on a car, you'll want this knowledge already in your head, not something you wish you'd learned after it breaks. I'm GearHead. Every car has a story, and together we're going to decode all of them, especially the ones that everyone else is too scared to touch because of a number on a screen.